Time to be in front of such a live audience, completely different than a Washington, D.C. studio. And I just want to say, welcome to Florida, Congressman.
How do you respond to what he's charging here?
There are definitely times when I wish I could have spent more time in Florida. For example, the Christmas of 2006, I was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. In 2007, I was in Fallujah, Iraq.
Are you prepared to endorse President Trump in 2020?
I look forward to campaigning with him as governor of Florida.
Well, that would be the first time you ever campaigned with him.
I'm running a Florida First campaign. I care more about the schools in Washington County than what's going on in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that was interesting. Remember that? You saw it right here. Florida's top two Republicans facing off for the gubernatorial nomination, often aligning themselves with President Trump's policies. Well, tonight is Election Eve in Florida, and they are going to put this contest into perspective. Some are calling it the single most important governor's race of 2018. Latest polls show that Trump-backed Ron DeSantis is in the lead, about 7 points ahead of his opponent, Florida Agricultural Commissioner Adam Putnam, who joins me now. Mr. Putnam, welcome. Good to have you back here. I know there are some polls out there that are closer than that. You probably see this as a very tight race, but it's been a roller coaster. When we did that debate, you were ahead by about 17 points. I mean, of course, people probably weren't paying attention yet, but this has been a tight one.
It is tight. Florida's a tightly fought state, and this is going to come down to a choice between the Washington way or putting Florida first. And I believe that the grassroots relationships that we've built over the last year and a half are going to pay off tomorrow. The relationships we've built visiting our big cities and our small towns, our main streets, our businesses, our barbecue restaurants, our coffee shops, and the people around me, these are the endorsements that matter the most, and they're going to lead us to victory tomorrow night.
All right, we will see. You got an enthusiastic crowd there. The president is working hard to get Ron DeSantis elected, and I know that you guys both want Trump supporters to be on your side, but he tweeted about him again today. So how tough is that for you?
Well, I think that you're seeing certainly them get him more and more engaged. You know, I support President Trump's agenda, and as we're seeing across the state, there are thousands of Trump-Putnam voters, and they recognize that there's a difference between what's going on in Washington and what they want out of their government here in Florida. And Florida's on a roll. We're creating new jobs. We're attracting 1,000 new people a day. We've balanced our budget every year, cut taxes every year, and cut the debt by $10 billion. I think Washington should operate more like Florida, not the other way around.
All right, big trade day. Let's play this, your comment on trade from the Florida debate, June 28th.
I've had a front row seat to the trade war that began 20-plus years ago when the United States signed a bad deal that has put Florida farmers and Florida ranchers at a distinct disadvantage. President Trump's the first president who cared more about American jobs and Florida farmers than about the Swiss diplomats at their tea parties.
So what Floridians think about this new deal? Do they think it's going to be beneficial to them?
Well, certainly there's across the industries, there's different viewpoints. Unfortunately for Florida agriculture, it wasn't quite the deal that we hoped it would be. We were unable to hold some of the negotiating positions that we had gone into that with, but it certainly is an improvement for American workers, American jobs, and we're going to continue to work with the administration to improve the situation for Florida farmers, because what we're seeing is a flagrant disregard for our trade agreements with Mexico dumping below-cost produce and a host of other things that is harming Florida jobs, Florida farmers, and Florida ranchers.
All right, Adam Putnam, thanks for coming on. Good to see you tonight. We'll watch what happens tomorrow.
We're glad to be on it, and we're excited about tomorrow night. It's going to be a great win. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We did invite Congressman Ron DeSantis on as well. He was not available tonight, but Chris Stirewalt was. So he is here to analyze it all. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
I mean, if you got Ron DeSantis turned down a TV hit, you know it must be the night before the election for sure.
I think we gave him a hard time about being on Fox too much, you know, which was one of the issues that he was grappling with, because they said he wasn't in Florida enough and he was on national TV a lot. So maybe he's doing a little bit less.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. And really, this is a study in contrast. There's a couple of different ways to try to get through the Trump era for Republican candidates. They're going to face a tough general. Whoever wins this is going to face a tough general. Gwen Graham, the daughter of longtime Congressman Bob Graham, moderate Democrat of the old school in Florida. The Democrats seem to be coalescing around her. Either of them are going to face a tough run to try to hold on to this seat for Republicans. This is a governorship that hasn't been in Democratic hands since before Jeb Bush. The last, I think it was 1990. 1998 was the last time that a Democrat got elected governor in Florida. This has been enormous success for Republicans. It could end this year. The stakes are very high.
What about the Senate race? You've got Rick Scott and Bill Nelson.
Bill Nelson is. I have seldom seen a person fail as thoroughly with the structural advantages that you have. Incumbent senators, beating an incumbent senator is hard. It's very hard. Bill Nelson sat on his hands for months while Rick Scott, who is self-funding, he is a hugely rich human being, self-funding, coming out after him. He's already got high name ID from natural disasters and man-made disasters in Florida and a relatively successful run as governor. And Bill Nelson just stinks at this. And it is a mystery for the ages about how he has been so flat-footed.
All right, well, see, before I let you go, half a minute, your thoughts on how the president handled the passing of John McCain.
That was an awful long time to take and a lot of wasted goodwill for something that he ended up doing anyway. To be dragged to this position and waste the time and waste the goodwill and politicize all of this when all of these people around him inside his White House, inside his administration were saying, please, 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 just do the right thing. Why waste the time? Why waste the goodwill?
Chris Stirewalt, thank you very much. Good to